Yo, what's good, peeps? This video has been well overdue, but I wanted to take a look at 10 of the things that I love and hate about Tekken 7, so make sure you keep it locked. Yo, as with any fighting game, the combat needs to be fun and satisfying for the player, and with almost every single Tekken game previously, Tekken 7 has managed to pull off that sense of satisfaction once again. Whenever you land a hit or get through a particularly difficult combo, the sense of satisfaction you will get is something that you'll need to experience for yourself to understand what I'm talking about. Overall, it's definitely great satisfying combat throughout Tekken 7. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, one of the issues for newcomers with this game is that there isn't actually a tutorial to teach you the very basics in this game. Understandably, fighting games can be learned quite easily by going into training mode and testing out all the buttons for a few minutes, but there are some nuances when it comes to this particular game that you might not learn about due to the lack of tutorial, and that's not fair to newcomer players who have never really played a Tekken game before.
King of Iron Fist tournament.
Yo, there's a myriad of characters in this one game, be they new or old, and every single one plays completely different to one another, and it almost makes it impossible not to find a main that you love to play throughout the cast of characters, whether you go online with them or stay offline. Yo, fighting games have an issue with having tacked on story modes or single player content, and unfortunately Tekken 7 is no different from this particular issue. After a few hours into the single player side of the game, you're gonna find it incredibly lacking and will pretty much beg for you to move on to the online play to get the most out of this game.
Ready for the next battle.
Yo, if you didn't know already, when you land a hit on an opponent, there tends to be an explosion of visual effects to make you feel like you've done something right. Well, it seems that Tekken 7 has taken that up a notch, because those visual effects look absolutely gorgeous, and it just makes them that much more enjoyable for the long term.
KO.
Yo, I've already enroached upon this, but it needs to be said again, there isn't enough for a newcomer to the series to get a grasp on. The lack of tutorial is already a big enough issue, but unless the new players are willing to spend the majority of their time learning in arcade or training mode, the game might push them away from the overall enjoyment factor of the game, and that's a true shame for everyone involved.
You continue.
Yo, for me, one of the problems that I find with certain fighting games from time to time is the lack of balance between different mechanics and characters, and as a result it can make one character be considered overpowered. Instead, the overall game in Tekken 7, I find the characters are well balanced, and it makes the player feel a lot better when they jump online, because it makes you feel like you or your opponent have a fair chance against each other, rather than looking at one character and instantly thinking, I'm facing an OP character now, it seems my chance of winning just hit zero. That's not a fun frame of thought, so it's a good thing that the players won't have to worry about that in this game the slightest. Yo, there's not much single player content in this game, as we've already discussed, but even in the short-lived story it still feels quite cliche and can get a bit boring at times because of this. Thankfully, the story does have some positive moments, but since it's so short, it is the negative that tends to stick out a little bit more in my personal opinion.
Fight.
Yo, considering that I'm not the biggest Tekken fan on the planet, maybe this isn't my call, but I would have to say everywhere you look online with Tekken 7, fans around the globe are considering this to be one of the greatest Tekken games in years, and it's quite easy to agree with this if I'm honest. Whilst I don't really have the greatest knowledge on all the previous Tekken games beforehand, this definitely does stand out as a Tekken game that I've kind of grasped and grown more fond of quickly. I personally find the online to be very stable, the characters are great fun to play with, and the game itself looks gorgeous overall. In addition, all of its mechanics are pretty darn balanced to such a degree that it's almost unprecedented in the fighting game genre.
You win.
Yo, a great feature of this game is unlocking archive rewards from the series up to this point, and while it's absolutely great to finally unlock your favorite Tekken stage soundtrack, getting the materials needed to actually unlock this can take some serious time to get. You don't nearly get enough just by playing the game casually, and that to me is a real shame, because unless you're playing this game all day every day, it's rather unlikely you'll unlock much of this content at all.
Final verdict.
Yo, all in all, I must say that Tekken 7 is without question a great fighting game with lots to love, such as the graphics, the game mechanics, and the overall gameplay experience. With that being said, there are a few gripes, such as the lack of great modes that we've experienced in older Tekken games, such as Team Battle, and even some of the mini games from back in the days, which I feel would have definitely helped mix up the overall gameplay variety. Do I recommend this game? Well, if you're a fan of fighting games, I'm sure you either already own this game by now, or if you don't own this game, maybe this should definitely be a game you should be considering picking up, because it is really a great fighting game. If you are new to the Tekken franchise, then I would say it's such a massive learning curve for you that you may get frustrated at first and might not potentially enjoy the game for what it is. I'm not really the biggest Tekken fan on the planet, and when I kind of first grabbed the game, I was really getting a lot of frustrated by just literally having to try and button bash my way through to try and learn some of the moves. I personally still prefer the likes of Injustice 2 or even Street Fighter 5 over this game, but that's simply because I've always preferred those type of fighting games. Don't get me wrong, this is still a great game, and definitely is a game that I personally will still recommend for those who don't own the game yet. Anyway peeps, I hope this video may have helped you out with maybe if you've got this game or not, and give you a little bit more perspective on Tekken 7. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until next urban gameplay video, we definitely say peace out, peeps.
Die. Mission complete.
Great. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more cool urban gameplay videos.